Welcome back everybody. Today we're playing Brimstone on Pearl. Today is day 18 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Brim is the only agent that can reliably smoke all 3 lanes on A, which makes him a pretty good pick. Not my favorite, but still a pretty decent pick. Brim is in my opinion the easiest smokes agent. That's why he is really flexible on most of the maps and he can be used on almost all of them. Starting off on A side. A side defense is pretty simple. You mainly just smoke main.
Smoke's down.
If they are trying to come through, you can then just molly main too. And you're gonna hold them in main for a really long time. If they then decide to come out, you can just keep spamming or keep re-smoking if they decide not to come out. I wouldn't recommend you play on A though, because if you play on A, you don't have the range to smoke on B or just all over the map. So I'd recommend you play over towards mid. If you're playing in mid, you can then smoke B, A, and the mid doors in case you need to. If you're playing art, you can smoke like this.
Smoke's down.
And then decide to either play close right here, play close on the other side. By the way, crouching in the edge of the smoke right here makes so the enemies can't really walk through because like they are gonna run into you, but they also can't see you, so it's a pretty safe spot. And if they then decide to walk out here, you have a free kill on most of them.
Launching smoke.
You can do the same thing as I showed you before, just throwing a molly inside of the smoke if you feel like, yeah, they're coming here, and then repositioning, or just waiting for them and holding them, spraying through the smokes. Or you can do what you've probably seen a lot of other Brim players do, is to have a smoke, and then play inside of it with a judge. This is really good because your smoke holds for a really long time, and it doesn't give the enemies too much vision as soon as they come into a smoke, and you can just judge away and get like a lot of kills through that. It is really annoying for the enemy team, so whenever you smoke somewhere, they're gonna think like, yeah, there's a Brim inside it with a judge, and you're gonna stall them out for a long amount of time just because you play smokes and you play a pretty, in my opinion, cringe style, but I really like playing judge on any agent, and Brim is no difference, even though it sucks to play against. If you're playing mid double doors defense, I'd recommend you just smoke right here. So the enemies trying to come out, you're gonna see their weapons first because they're gonna come out like here. You can then try decide to either stand up here, stand close here. There's most likely, this is the spot where you shouldn't play too often because they're most likely gonna pre-aim right here. Or you can even go back here and have an even better off angle towards the enemies, and you can get free kills like that. The same thing as I just showed you over in art also works here. If you play close with a shotgun, you don't even have to smoke here. Just hide behind the door, wait for them to walk in, and then you can just shoot. You can even wallbang through here. So if you see somebody's gun coming out, but not like really coming out, you can just shoot through and most likely kill them. Switching over towards B side. On B side, the default smoke is a smoke right here.
Smoke.
This smoke is pretty bad on a Brim though, because Brim smokes aren't that big, and there's usually a gap on either one of the 2 sides. So I'd recommend, if you do that smoke, you tell your teammate that there can be a gap in it, so they are more aware of the gap. And they can even hold the gap, because sometimes it doesn't really look like a gap from the other side, and you're gonna get some good kills off of that because the enemies are not gonna expect it. Let's say you're retaking A. On an A retake, it's always important to remember which part of the map you have. If you don't have secret, main or link, I'd recommend you have your teammates from flowers splitting up. Maybe 1 or 2 going here, 1 or 2 going flowers. Flowers is usually the easiest spot to clear out, so you can send somebody in here alone. If you've taken backside but you don't have art control and main control, you just smoke art and main off to take side control. Like this. Take side control, maybe even use a stim beacon if you have a lot of teammates around you. You can then clear out side. If you notice nobody is pushing out of the smokes, or side is cleared, you can then, if you have a smoke left, either smoke side.
Smoke's down.
Especially on the smoke, because this is really good, because your teammates can then hold main, while the person inside of the smoke is just going for the defuse. And since the update on the new ping system, you can't ping the spike if there's a smoke in front of it, or with a normal marker. You don't see the marker on the side, and it's hard to spam through smokes. So a smoke on the spike is always recommended. Another thing you can do to push back enemies and get the defuse off safely is to place a smoke in
Launching
main,
smoke.
and if you have your ult behind main, and start defusing. If you start defusing while your ult goes off, you have a guarantee of at least getting half of the defuse, and you can then either throw a molly right away, so they can't peek out here. They're gonna take damage, trying to peek you, diffusing the smoke, and you can get the full defuse. Or you can just try to stick the defuse fully without a molly or anything in it, and you sometimes can get it as well. It's a little riskier though, and I recommend you have your teammates holding the main smoke. The same thing obviously also works for Art. If you have a teammate flanking from main, he cleared out all of main, the rest of your team has cleared out secret and flowers, you can just smoke here,
Launching smoke.
and then ult this spot,
Open up the sky.
and then even molly, like this, and you get a free defuse. Because your molly lands like this, they gotta have to walk through the molly, and they're gonna take a lot of damage. By the way, your stim beacon is always good to rotate fast as a team. For example, you are holding A with like two of your teammates, and then your teammate on B says, yeah, he needs help because they're rushing his side. You can then just throw a stim beacon and run knife out towards B. You're pretty fast. You're not quite as fast as a Neon, but you are still way faster than you would normally be. You can maybe even help out your teammate on B before they even take side. If you're retaking B, I'd again recommend you smoke main, because this is almost one of the best smokes. Still, don't forget there can be gaps in the smoke here. If you place it really good, there's almost no gaps, but like if somebody plays from up here, up on top of this box, he can see the people trying to cross over, get a kill on you. So always remember there can be gaps in the smoke, especially if you play a Brim. As soon as you smoke main, you can either use your stim beacon to clear out the rest of site. You can also decide to molly the smoke in main so they can't push through. And if they are, they're just gonna take a lot of damage. And you can then just either smoke right here because they planted the smoke they planted the spike right here, or smoke here, wherever the spike is. Just smoke the spike off and start to defuse. You're gonna make a lot of pressure on the enemy team, and the enemy team is gonna struggle to get you off the spike unless they use a lot of util, which they can't use later on in the round. If you don't have B-Link, I'd also recommend you smoke off B-Link as well.
Smoke's down.
It's really easy to hold this short amount of space, and you can just spray the enemies as soon as they're trying to come out, and you can get a lot of kills through that. That also counts if the enemies decide to go mid-doors towards B. This smoke right here holds them really good, and you can also counter a mid-push with a molly like this, so they can't really get out, especially if there's a smoke right here.
Launching smoke.
They're not gonna do a lot. If they come out, they're gonna take a lot of damage, and you get free kills. You can also throw the molly a little further in, so it covers more of the back part here, so they gotta go even farther back. Or you can throw a molly close here. If you know there's somebody in this corner, you can just molly them out by throwing a molly like this. Anyone playing close here is gonna take a lot of damage, and you get a free kill, especially if you know they are in this corner, and just spray. Let's switch over towards attack. If you attack on A, as I said in the intro, Brim is the only agent that can reliably smoke all 3 angles you can get peeked from on A side. With 3 smokes like this,
Fully smoked.
smoked off all of main, nobody can see you from art, nobody can see you from backside right here, and nobody can see you from flowers. This is really good because like that you get sight in a more easier way, and you don't have to split A through art to get A sight pretty well. You can also use your stim beacon if you rush as a full team to get even faster towards sight, and to even give the enemies less time to react, and you can get a free plant off of that. A lot of you are probably thinking, when are the lineups coming? I'm here to tell you, I'm not really a lineup guy, but I can show you a trick with Brimstone where you can find a lineup almost anywhere on the map. You can use that either in a custom game by yourself to find new lineups, or you can also use it in game. It is kind of risky though. To prove that it works everywhere on the map, I'm just gonna choose a random spot, let's say right here. Look up, take my smoke out, put it on the middle of the spike, and then I place the smoke.
Smoke's down.
I see where the smoke started from, and then I throw my molly. The molly goes up, bounces once, and lands exactly at the middle of the smoke. So if you planted the spike right here, there's no way of them getting the defuse. This is really useful because most of the times you don't have the time to learn lineups, and it's a really simple way to find a new one on Brim. Like that, you can play your ult too. Use your ult first. You can then either place a smoke or find a lineup, or use a lineup you found using the trick, and win the round for your team. I recommend you don't do that every round though, and I recommend you also don't just leave site. You can also use your molly to sort out the enemies from even getting towards site, which is a pretty good thing because the Brim molly lasts for a really long time, and especially with a molly like right here in flowers or even backside, they're gonna struggle to come towards site and take a lot of damage if they do, and you basically saved your team a couple of seconds of the defuse, so the enemy team has less time to defuse. If you want to go A through art, I'd recommend you use a smoke right here.
Launching smoke.
In the link. Because if you have a smoke right here, anyone trying to rotate in is gonna get blocked off. And then you use your second and third smoke here in flowers and secret.
Fully smoked.
With smokes like these two, it is pretty easy to take site, and the people from backside are gonna have a hard time stopping you. The other option you have while going through mid is a smoke right here, smoking off mid connector, and then your team can clear out the rest of the things here. Your molly is also pretty good to clear out corners. You can use a molly like this one. I'd recommend you have a teammate holding the corner, or if you think there's somebody here, to clear out the corner close. A molly like this clears out everything and still leaves your team enough space to go around the molly and go towards site. If you are hitting B side after through mid, I'd recommend you use your smokes right here and the other one right here.
Smoke's down.
Smoke on top stops anyone from going out. Your second smoke you place right here. This is important because if you place it higher, it's gonna smoke the top thing, which isn't good for your team, and you block off CT. And if you smoke closer out, like right here and heaven,
Smoke's down.
Enemy team is getting way more space, and they can even go out here, go towards elbow, and your team has no idea if they have crossed or not. So always smoke a little farther behind here, so you don't smoke on top, and you don't smoke in front of here, so the enemy team doesn't have a chance to cross out towards elbow. Switching over towards a B attack. On B, you can use your stim beacon close here, and then swing out far. Because sometimes there's people holding it with an op, and especially on a stim beacon, you are most of the times faster than the enemy can flick, and you're getting out of long pretty easily. You can also use a chat smoke here close to go out even farther and throw off the enemy's crosshair placement even more. Then you can clear a close here, and you can get in this corner where you're pretty safe to place your smokes. For B, I recommend smokes here, here, and here.
Fully smoked.
If your team doesn't come from mid, this should be smoked off. Heaven is an obvious choice to smoke off, and CT is also pretty important to smoke off. Another thing you can do on the CT smoke though, is if you smoke up here, it's kind of a one-way for them in CT. You can use that one way to your advantage if you have taken site without using all three of your smokes, and the enemies are trying to come out CT or come out heaven. You can have a teammate holding heaven, and you yourself hold like the thing below here. As soon as you see the enemy's legs, you shoot them. A good spot for your molly is either close here, because there are some people that like to play right here, or some way to clear out the close corner here is just to throw a molly from here, bounces off the back wall and lands close here. It makes it harder for your team to clear out the elbow here though, so always think of your team, or think of the space your team wants to take. So don't throw a molly like this if you want to clear out backhalls. If you don't want to clear out backhalls, you can also just throw a molly close here, which blocks off anyone from peeking backhalls, and the person here is going to be trapped, and you get a free kill to your teammates or to yourself if you decide to peek that guy. Because it's going to be stuck here close. On B, the best plant is over here in this corner. For this corner right here, you can easily molly that spot by aiming around at the height of the box here, and then just throwing a molly. The molly lands exactly where the spike is planted. Even if you go further back and you are like here, you just have to aim at the second box, and your molly is still gonna land at about the right spot. can also use your ult to play post plant. By the way, I think it's a better ult if you ult farther back here, not farther in front, because you can also clear out back halls. If anyone is back halls, they're most likely gonna be trapped, and you're gonna do a lot of damage to whoever is close here, and he has to push towards you, and you get free kills for that. Another kind of funny strat I found is that you can use a caterpillar smoke to just smoke off all of sight. This works especially well if you're on an eco and have like stingers and shit. If you smoke like this, you kind of separate the site from the players here, and if you all have stingers, you can just run those people down. And then you can go backside, clear out the rest here. It looks really funky, but like it works, especially in eco rounds. So if you're trying to win an eco round and you decide to go be a smoke, like this isn't bad. It isn't good for other rounds, but on an eco round it's a pretty decent smoke.
Fully smoked.
And it looks kind of funny too. You can then either decide to plant somewhere here and get free plants off of that as well, and you can farm ults like that too. By the way, the smoke and molly trick works all over the map. Let's try it from mid here.
Smoke's down.
See where the smoke started. Take our molly in our hand
Molly.
and just throw it. It goes up high, bounces once, and lands right on the spike. So if you're far away from the spike, if they plant it and your team starts dying, you can save yourself some time by smoking the spike, by looking up, smoking the spike, and then creating a insta Brim molly lineup. So you have more time for your rotates. If I had to give Brim a rating on Pearl, I give him the A tier. Since he is a pretty good smoker you can use on Pearl to achieve a lot of different things, he's just kind of lacking in the other util department, since he just has a stim beacon and his molotov to kind of stall diffuses and stall pushes, which I personally think aren't that great of abilities, but like he's still pretty viable on this map. He's definitely a pick I don't mind anyone picking in my ranked games. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I really hope you guys learned something from it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys very soon. If you have any questions or suggestions which agents I should play next, write them down in the comments as well. That will be it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily, and see you guys very soon. Bye!